Hey, what's up, guys? In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to make a multilingual application or game for that matter. All right, let's go ahead and open up Visual RPG Studios. For this, we're just going to go ahead and create a simple new project. We'll call it, let's see, language 1. Okay, we got our blank project here. Go ahead and first thing we want to do is go over this little language selection and do a right click and put add. Little drop down box here. Let's go ahead and select English. And all right, there we go. We got our English language in there, and let's go ahead and throw an example language in there. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just for this example, let's go ahead and select Japanese. Okay, go ahead and double click on the English file. That'll open up the whole language editor here. First off, we need a key. Let's put this first key, let's just put test with a capital T and at test. And in English, that's pretty easy. That's test, and go ahead and add that in. For the next part, of course, I know absolutely no Japanese whatsoever. So for this, let's go ahead and go over to the Google language tool. It's not the best thing in the world, but it knows Japanese better than I do. So let's see, it's the translate tool. All right, and in English here, let's put in test, and let's go ahead and select Japanese from the list here.
So I heard you talking.
All right, now I have my Japanese translation, all the squiggly letters I don't understand. Let's go back over and open up the Japanese language file. Let's go ahead and put the same key in there, test, and let's go ahead and paste in the Japanese value and hit add into that. So the first part's done. We have our two translation files in there. So what we need to do is we need to make a basically a GUI where the user selects the language at that point. So go ahead and go over to scripts, go do a right click, add script, new, and let's go with a, let's see, blank visual on this one, and we'll call this one language. Alright, go ahead and open up that language file by double clicking on it. And now we have a basic GUI here. What we're going to do is we're just going to make a simple 2-button one for that. For this guy, click over to buttons and then click twice onto the page. Go ahead and clean those up, move them where you want them, align them, whatever. Select the first one. We'll call that one BTN EN. Let's see, for the text, we'll put English. The next one, we'll select BTN JP. And for the second one, we'll give it the text Japanese. Okay, go ahead and select the English button and go over to the properties on the side over here, and let's go ahead and have it fire an event on the mouse up. To do this, select the mouse up field and then click the little down button here. We have the event for that. Go back over to designer mode and do the same thing for the Japanese button. Okay, a little scripting is needed at this point. Let's go ahead and refresh that file so I have the coloring in it. Okay, do an alternate click onto the screen and do quick commands header and add the language header to that. Click it, and you'll notice up at the top it added the language header in there. Alright, next type in language dot set on this one, and for the English code, this basically follows standard practices. For English, I believe it's EN, and then go ahead and copy that line over. And for Japanese, I think it's JP. Or is it J? J. And go ahead and paste the language code into there. And for that one, it is code by standard JA. I actually had to go look that one up. You just Google language code and type the language after it, and it'll give you the language code for that file. And that'll set basically the engine's language to whatever language code you specify in that. Okay, this next part, we're going to go ahead and backload this file right onto itself just for simplicity. But go ahead and create a label. Take this label for its name, give it LBL test for this one. For its value on text, this is where the keys come into play. On this, we're going to type in @test. And basically, any GUI object that has a text field on it, if you replace the text with your key, when you set the language, it will go through and automatically replace it. Alright, we got our label there. Now let's go ahead and center it. And we'll also center it on screen. Now let's make the font a little bigger. I have to blow the box up. Oops, a little bit there. Alright, go back onto the code side. And we're going to have to go ahead and we're going to just reload this script so it has the new language on it. Any scripts after that would have the language on them that you set. For that, let's go UI dot. We have to hit the dot back a couple times to get it to show the right one. Dot load. And we'll go ahead and load this script. Let's see, script name. And do we want it to clear? We'll put true on that. Let's go ahead and type the script name in here, which, let's see, yep. Language dot Visual VLUA. And just go ahead and copy paste that down into the bottom function. Yeah, I know I could have made this one function here and fed the object back and basically pulled the text from it. But for example purposes and simplicity reasons, after this lesson, we'll just go ahead and use two events on this. So now we got it running the language file. That should be just about it. Let's see if we go ahead, if we have everything done right. Let's go ahead and hit the test button up here. Switch it over to the design side here. Causes the build to go much faster there, if you notice. Oh, forgot to do one thing. Go ahead and close that out. We're actually loading the default main file there. Come over here and let's just delete this main file right out of the system. First of all, delete it and go to the language file. Oops, sorry. Come up to File, Settings, Project Settings, go to Engine, and we're looking for the start script essentially. Actually, sorry, go to scripting. And for this, let's switch both of these main menu and the start over to the language file there. Go ahead and hit OK, and let's go ahead and test again. Now we should actually start up on the right file. Alright, a little off screen here with those two buttons, but let's just go ahead and expand that out there. Alright, for the first one, we have, of course, English. Click that, and you'll notice instead of showing the keys now, it's showing test. By default, we could have had it load start up, basically in English. Basically, you can script anything the way you want it. And let's go ahead and test the Japanese button. Go ahead and hit Japanese. And you notice it's showing the Japanese characters there. And that's pretty much it for this lesson. You can script your whole game basically off those two text files and have it available in any language.
Run on, dude!